It's just a small one. We also be doing a little golf later, so just keep an eye out for that. Sheet's coming off a good night. I am coming off of another poor night, so we are going to get into it and go game by game here. Sheets, any sort of overall thoughts? Anything we want to touch on before we jump into game by game?
Yeah, it's gonna be another Atlanta slate, meaning that they're gonna be rated to be the best, and they're gonna be really expensive, and I don't see any rain issues tonight. I was fortunate enough to have gotten lazy. I didn't really want to deal with waiting on the weather there, so I basically X'd the game out. I got lucky with that, because they ended up playing, and I put and
So that was what I went the heaviest on.
yeah, that was, what? That's what I would have done if
Right.
I wasn't lazy. I would have waited and figured it out, played Atlanta, then Boston, because that was my favorite. But so I got lazy, ended up benefiting from the luck of the draw that they just happened to have not performed yesterday, honestly.
Yeah.
Anyway, yes, that's like one of those things where I'll come out and say, oh, I knew Atlanta Boston was a good fade, that's why I faded. No. That's what that's we talked about this in another stream. Like that's bad content, right? To do that. Anyway, all right. So the Mets against the Yankees. One thing I did get right yesterday, and this was actually really weird. I don't want to talk too much about this, but I talked about this when we were doing the live stream. In that the Mets, they didn't really rate well for me, but for whatever reason, like when I ran it through SaberSim, accounting for everything else, I just got like so much of it. And I just kind of went with it. I actually had to pare it down to only have like 50% of it, and they ended up really, really smashing. And it's very, I don't know, it's just interesting to see when that type of thing happens, like where the you combine upside with ownership, and that's why when you make multiple lineups, listen, you do it manually with the scripting and stuff because honestly, you've been doing it a while, and I just when I use SaberSim to do it for me, I get like weird exposures like that, and when they actually perform, I mean, obviously it's being results oriented, but when they actually perform, it makes you feel like, wow, I never would have done that myself. So anyway, for those of you who have not signed up with the TrueDFS with the SaberSim package, that's the best advertisement I can come up with for that. And let's talk about Carlos Rodon again.
Yes. Okay. So yeah, like both these pitchers, I have interest in. To be honest with you, it's they're giving Rodon the respect. It's enough. Like it's a small enough slate where I'm gonna have to at least consider him. He's a huge discount off of the other top arms. He's on my list. I think Quintana's like. Now, he threw more pitches than I thought he would in his first start against his former team. I'm a little concerned, but I think 5,700, if you wanted to spend up for the Atlanta guys, that's one route you could use him as one of your guys potentially. But there are two guys who are also cheap who I prefer a little bit better. That's where I'm at for this game. I'm not overly interested in the hitting outside of, I think Stanton is a terrific home run play. And I think that Peraza Peraza and LeMahieu are just so cheap. It's hard not to have some interest there.
My comment on Carlos Rodon has been the same as it's been since they started. That I prefer to wait for one good outing before I play him. And
well, so does that lead you to because now that I hear that from you and I hear that from a lot of people, does that mean that the Mets are a viable stack tonight?
Yes.
Okay. And you get them at like no ownership for a small slate. That's kind of appealing.
Yeah, and they will listen. And here's the other thing, is that if in fact Rodon there's a problem with him, they're going to let him pitch anyway. You know what I mean? Like if you're getting like a bad Carlos Rodon,
yeah,
like you could get like a lot of runs. I don't necessarily think he's bad yet. You know what I mean? That's kind of ignorant to say, right? But for the purposes of wagering, I would just rather be late than early, especially when 40% ownership, right? Which is what it looks like he's going to be. I mean, imagine like a guy with this type of game log at 40% owned. I just can't do it. So that's where I'm at. The Yankees, you'd have to imagine, are one of a bunch of pivots off of Atlanta. And when I say pivots, pivot implies that like they're similar in structure. So I mean, it's totally different. You know what I mean? Like The Mets have no Yankees have not even remotely the upside of Atlanta in general. But I guess Quintana could be someone to give up a lot of stuff. I don't know. So yeah, on a shorter slate, I definitely think here that the Yankees are in play, and I think the Mets are in play. And I don't think I'm going to do Quintana, but and I definitely am not going to do Rodon in the big buy-ins. Like if I play MME and I get to some of them, yeah, I'll play them. But I'm not putting more than a MME buy-in on it.
Hey, makes sense to me. All right, so then as I mentioned yesterday that I had some of that game. One of the other things that one of the things I did take away a little bit of, I was if they were going to start him, I was going to even play a little Pavetta, which he was not like anything special, but he was good enough. I look, we're going to stack the Braves here like a lot of the time. It's in Boston. You get the extra bats because of the ninth inning and everything. It's 86 degrees with 8-mile-an-hour winds going out to center. The problem is with stacking is that Bello is good and he's kept his control really good. So maybe even if you stack Atlanta out, and by the way, you're going to have a hard time getting a 5-man stack of Atlanta in because they are expensive as always. And so I have 2 pitchers that I can play with an Atlanta stack, and I still have to leave some of the better bats off. But I mean, obviously, I think Atlanta is the team you'd want to play tonight. But I just want to throw out that the reasons why to fade them would be like that Bello's pretty good, they're really expensive, and they're going to be really popular. So between those things, maybe you find the Atlanta fade. I'm not finding it. I also don't have Strider as any sort of a priority today. Could be a mistake. You have a pretty contact-heavy team that at a price where I feel like those other guys can get me like I feel like Strider could have a decent game and put up like 20 to 25 here. And I just think at 12-7, I think I'd rather play somebody else to get me 20. And I think there are some other options. So that's where I'm at.
I mean, you play Strider and Acuna. That's like 20,000 right there, pretty much.
Yeah.
I can you play Strider with the Braves? I mean, I don't. You can't even
not with the Braves that you want.
Right.
Maybe not with the Braves, to be honest with you.
So I like Boston. Again, I kind of ignorant to say I don't like Strider. I mean, guy strikes out 100 guys a game, right? But I probably won't play him. It's as usual. But then again, like who do you play here? If I don't want to play Carlos Rodon, and this is why Carlos Rodon is going to be popular, because who are you going to play? Like if you don't want to, it's going to be either playing Valdez, or then you're paying down and to get to Rodon, I guess.
Yeah.
So I guess this is why Carlos Rodon is going to be popular, and probably why he's a better player than I'm probably letting on, I guess. So Strider, it's good. Atlanta is good. It's just going to be a matter of construction. As a matter of fact, after we go through our game to game, I will do a Saberson build just for fun. I just want to just kind of see what it would look like, actually.
Yeah, and for what it's worth, like if we're gonna be worried about Rodon and all these things, like I really think you should play a little bit of Bello then. Like I'm not playing enough lineups where I'm probably going to get to him. But if I was scripting 150 on a 5-game slate like this, I would play 10% of them at least.
Yeah, I mean, because for him also, we're not looking for a big game, really.
We're just looking for him to outscore Rodon, really.
Just keep the ball down, keep the ball in play. I hope Babbitt helps you, and you get 14, 15 fantasy points. I mean, like whatever.
Yeah, you want him to outscore Rodon and Stroman, basically,
right.
and have something where he can get you more than the other guys. Although the problem is that the cheaper guys might have a little more upside. Well, not more upside, because Bello probably has a pretty good amount anyway. All right, we can move on to
what the hell? What is Stroman doing? Giving up all these runs? Where did this come from?
That happens throughout the course of a season.
Yes, look at this. This is nuts. Like he's in 4 walks too.
Yeah, I'm not gonna.
No, I'm just commenting.
Yeah,
just observing. So I have Lance Lynn as the top overall value on DraftKings, and call it what it is. I have the Cubs as the best overall value on DraftKings also.
I totally get it.
So that's what it is. The question that I have is what is more in need, hitting pitching, I actually don't know the answer. I'm probably going to do the same thing I did today with the Peralta thing. I'll probably have Cubs and I'll probably have Lynn.
Yeah, I think that's totally reasonable. You have two ultimate ground ball pitchers in really good hitting weather, so kind of tricky. And the one thing is, if you look at the lineup, we know Lance Lynn is much better against righties. I'm only seeing 5 lefties and 2 of them are switch hitters for the Cubs today, which is a big difference. People always say like they don't treat it like it's the same. I think it is different when you have a switch hitter because most of the time you compromise something a little bit. But only 5, as long as there's not 6 or more, Lance Lynn, I feel pretty good about. At the same time, I do think there's a huge upside here for the Cubs. And they've got a lot of guys who are very reasonably priced. So I sort of agree with both sides of that. And to be honest, I think the ownership's going to agree with it too. They're probably going to look at like 10 to 15% of Cubs stacks tonight. You're probably going to see like 30% of Lance Lynn. And I think that's completely reasonable. That's basically what I would probably be doing. Maybe I'd be a little bit higher on the Cubs. I don't in general play teams against Stroman. It's only a 5-game slate. So I think that you could consider it, but there's nobody who stands out as like a one-off that I need to have. If I had to play anybody, it would probably be like Jake Berger, but he's probably going to bat 8th, or Andrew Vaughn. But because I'd be looking for the home run upside at a reasonable price, everybody else is, Robert's expensive. I guess Eloy Jimenez is reasonable. But like people will play like Benintendi as one-offs and stuff. I mean, he doesn't really run that much anymore, and he doesn't have any power. So I don't do that stuff. But
yeah, I'm not playing the White Sox.
Yeah. Yeah, we can move on to the Houston and
so this game could deliver. Could deliver every which way but loose. Like Haney. We talked about this last night. We were doing the live stream. I mean, he's always playable, and his opponent's always playable. And I don't think today's any exception. I think you could play Heaney, and at a 5. We talked about it yesterday. We considered the fact that he might be popular. I don't think it's going to work out that way.
Yeah, I don't think Heaney's going to be played.
Yeah. So I'll take a shot at that, and obviously Houston could put up 10 in this game also. Valdez is a very natural pivot off of Strider, and no, I'm not going to play. I'm going to play both of them together. And I think Texas is going to be like the 4th. I mean, I don't think I'm going to do that. Like if I thought that again, it's 5-game slate. So if I thought that Valdez was going to end up being like pretty chalky, as like everybody's like kind of like sneaky pivot off of Strider or something, I would take a shot at some Texas. But I don't think Valdez is kind of tough for me to always beat, to try to beat. So for me, I'll play the other sides, and I'll play Heaney, and I'll play Houston.
Yeah, Houston I think is going to be pretty popular tonight. Yeah, I think they'll probably be 2nd or 3rd most popular. I think it'll be Atlanta, Chicago, and Houston probably. At least that's what I've got right now. Yeah, Houston should be getting back. This is the problem with playing Heaney tonight. Houston should be getting back both Alvarez and what's his name?
Good grief.
And guy who used to be great, although hasn't been lately, Jose Altuve. So you add them in, all of a sudden Houston's lineup looks like a real lineup again. It's harder to love this spot for Heaney. I mean, look at the total. They've got a 5-run total against him. It's kind of alarming. I'm not getting to Valdez. Right now I have Heaney and Lynn as my main pitchers because I wanted to play Atlanta.
Ooh, I like that.
You got to try and do something, right? Like if I want to play the Atlanta guys, I'm gonna have to do that and probably then some. So I like the Heaney. If I wasn't playing Heaney, I would definitely get to some Houston. But they are priced. The guys you want, especially, are priced extremely similar to the Braves. So I would prefer the Braves still, just all things considered. But certainly viable. What do you got here, Sheets? What do you like between between Heaney and if you had to pay down like Heaney, you've got the Heaney option, you've got the Quintana. I think Quintana is an option, and then you've got the 7,700 of Lynn. Lynn is obviously like the more obvious play, but there's something about it makes me want to kind of go. Maybe what if I just play Heaney and Quintana just to really get off the board on a 5-gamer?
Well, I mean, I think that we have to consider the last game as well for this conversation. because you have Alex Wood and Harris, and not that either of these guys are winning the Cy Young anytime soon, but they're dirt cheap. And you saw what happened last night, man. That game just cruised. It just cruised right to the finish. If you want to play these, you want to game stack Atlanta, Boston, or whatever. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people are going to play Lynn. But if you want to play like the Cubs, for example, that means you're not playing Lynn. Then you could play like Heaney with one of these turkeys. You know what I mean? And then pay up for all your, do like an Atlanta-Chicago combination with Heaney and one of these two guys. Do you have any interest in either of these two guys?
No, and I think that they're both gonna I think that Wood is gonna have ownership, and I'm not going to have any of it probably.
Okay.
I like the idea of using Oakland's value to get different.
Okay.
That's a team that no one's going to play, but like Jordan Diaz is what he's supposed to be batting third today or second, and he's 2,300. Soderstrom at catcher, Seth Brown, although lefty there, maybe go Laureano instead if he's in there. But yeah, just I have the Oakland as the value pieces, and then I have San Francisco as basically my second favorite. The problem with this game what helps the pitching argument is it's 58 degrees. Everywhere else we're talking about is like 30 degrees hotter. Welcome to San Francisco. Yeah, so I would probably I do like the Giants. They're cheap. So between these teams, they're both the cheap pieces for me to go with my Braves. But I have no problem with the 5-man Giants stack.
All right, just for fun, we're gonna do a 150 max SaberSim build using the True DFS projections, and I'm gonna predict before I do this what we're gonna get. I think it's gonna be. I think they're going to want to play Atlanta, so they're going to play Lynn. Oh, boy. No, you know what I think they're going to do? I think
Lynn and Wood for Atlanta.
No, I think Houston's going to be the one. I think Houston's going to be the team. So I think it's going to be Lynn, somebody, and Houston. I think that's going to be the deal. Let's just
see. Let's see what that gives you.
SaberSim doesn't like to pay like $7,000 for position players, so I don't think they're going to get to Atlanta.
Well, here's why I disagree with you though, because SaberSim is not going to have. They don't have either Alvarez or Tuck or.
That's true.
What's his name projected in the lineup?
Let's take a look. See.
Because they.
Yeah. I didn't project those guys in.
Okay.
SaberSim
doesn't project them in.
No, but we're using my projection, so I don't know what I did.
I don't think that you don't have them in.
Yeah, so it looks like all right. So first of all, so team stacks. Yeah, they are getting all the Atlanta and the Boston somehow with Lynn and Hogan Harris. Let's go. There it is.
Should I rethink this Hogan Harris thing?
Maybe Lynn and Alex Wood and Lynn and Alex Wood and Lynn and Hogan Harris and Lynn and Alex Wood. Yeah, they like Atlanta. That's the idea, I guess.
I mean, Hogan Harris is probably I actually like Harris better than I like Wood here, just because I just don't know what they do with Wood. You know what I mean? Like it's really feels like it's just a game by game. When's the last time he had the 5-inning outing against Colorado? He had pitched 4 innings his last outing, 3.2 innings in a game where he didn't give up anything. He hasn't thrown more than 80 pitches in any of these things really. Since he came back from the injured list. I think that I would take more of a shot on Harris probably than I would. But both are certainly viable. Like, you know what I mean? At least a couple weeks ago, Hogan Harris threw 100 pitches. The problem is he he gets hit like crazy. He walks everybody. Yeah.
So that's pretty cool, actually. At 150 lineups, you're getting 1% Spencer Strider.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
Here he goes again with the 50-point outing, huh?
They like the Braves. You know what I mean? They just like the Braves.
No, I know. I like the Braves too.
Yeah.
It's just wild when you could have a good stack and the guy could outscore your stack.
And not only that, but of the 150 lineups, you're getting a full 35 5-mans with Atlanta.
Oh, wow.
Let's see what those look like. Let's see exactly what those look like. So now you can sort by the Atlanta 5-mans. Okay, this one does not have Okuna. This one does. Yeah, these Lynn Wood lineups just freaking build themselves. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, you just game stack the crap out of Braves Red Sox if you do that.
But why do we think Lynn is a better pitcher, is a better play? I mean, why do we think Wood is a better play than Quintana?
Or whatever, or Hogan Harris. Doesn't matter. I mean,
well, I think it does matter because I think that's my argument for the Quintana thing is that you've got like literally you're going to have what 150 ownership on him of these other guys, and I don't get the difference.
Or you do something like this. This one, look at this one. This one's kind of sexy. You have Heaney Lynn with Braves and Mets. That's not bad.
That's sort of what I came up with.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I came up with the Braves and the Giants, but I think that'll work well.
How about a 3-man White Sox stack including Yasmani Grandal? Oh, God.
Grandal. I wouldn't touch Grandal.
Yeah.
Today.
Yeah.
Oh no, actually, you know what? That's not true. I would play Grandal today. It's fly balls, and you got a ground ball pitcher.
Yeah, so that's Saberson would have you be something like Lynn Wood, Lynn Harris, something like that.
Sort of our same idea, or at least my same idea from last night with the Heaney Lynn.
Well, yeah, I think I'm going to play a little more Heaney. You know,
I just think it's better to play like live with the variance and embrace the fact that you have the guy who could be the highest scoring pitcher on the slate. Like he really could.
Oh, absolutely.
He has that in his bag. Whereas there's no chance that Alex Wood is the highest scoring pitcher on the slate.
That's correct.
And the same thing with Quintana, no chance. But Lance Lynn and Heaney could be the highest too. It's possible. All right. Well, we're gonna do some golf, and then we'll be back. We'll shut this down and get back to it shortly. Sheets, anything else?
Yeah. Okay. So here's a couple of things. I don't know if I'm going to be live, but here's something for everybody to remember: that if you play FanDuel starts at 6:40 Eastern time tonight. I guess there's one game that they're including.
That game looks very unlikely to play, by the way.
Okay, but it's still going to be 6:40. Right.
Sometimes if they postpone it soon, they'll send an adjustment thing and say you have till 7:10.
But you have it till anyway if it's only game at 6:40. You know.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So let me think. So what am I doing? I'm going to try to make lock. And there's a tiny chance. It depends on when I get out there, or whatever it is. If I'm in the mood, maybe I'll pop in live later. We'll see how it goes. But one of us at least should be there for live at 6.
Yeah.
And I guess that's it. Hopefully we'll be celebrating the early slate victory of BobbyFi.
I hope so, or of yours. Well, I'm happy to do it.
I don't care about me. I want Bobby to win. That's the important.
Sounds good. All right, man. Good. Take it easy, everybody, and good luck today.
And we'll do golf.
Yeah, I'll load it up. I'm just gonna fix the video on YouTube real quick.
Okay.